Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Olympian Table. We have got lots for you to talk about and us to talk about today. And I've got my good friend Kay at the back. Good morning, Kay. How you doing, sweetie pie?
I am doing good. I had a breakfast taco this morning, so
You got your
everything's great.
breakfast taco, and now you've got everything ready to go to talk about everything. We've had an interesting week. To help the channel out, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Um, even for all the clips that we take, please do that. We'd appreciate it. Um, we're going to start off this morning, well, unfortunately, with something quite somber. It's something that we should never forget. Obviously, we should never forget our fallen veterans. But, in the, the famous 9/11 with the two planes that flew into the two World Trade Centers, we would like to honor them this morning with just a short moment of silence. If you could join us with that, please.
And so for 9/11, actually, um, two, I guess we can say quote unquote unlikely parties, ran into each other this morning, just in Manhattan, um, to
We've had a
honor.
few words thrown across the aisle, if you want to,
Yeah.
this week. Yeah. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were both at the ceremony this morning um, to share memories of 9/11 2024. There was a lot of other celebrities that were there. President Biden was there. Mayor Bloom, well, he's not the mayor anymore. I don't think he's the mayor.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But there was a lot of celebrities there. JD Vance was there. Sort of nice to see everybody there,
Mhm.
showing the loss of, was it 5,000 people?
That passed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how many people. Let's see. Um, it, wa- I think you're right.
I was saying to Kay earlier on that 297,
297.
2,977 victims.
So
Um,
3,000 people.
I was saying to Kay earlier on, it was very eerie because where I live, we live on a large acreage by modern standards. And we levered over two flight paths for the two uh, airports, Hobby Airport and Bush International. The planes are so high up they don't really affect us, but we can see them on a clear night. On a cloudy night, we can't see them. But I will never forget the eeriness after 9/11 when all the planes were grounded for I think 4 or 5 days. And, when I'm walking the dogs at night time, the dogs are outside. I'm in my rocking chair, to be perfectly honest. It was just eerie, you know, not to hear them planes in the air that we've been hearing for what at that time, because we've been in the house about let me see, 10 years. It was just a really eerie time to to witness that. And then of course I think it was like 4 or 5 days later that everything sort of went back to normal. And you were saying, Kay, you were scheduled to fly out that day, correct?
Yeah, and then we changed it to the day before. My mom changed it to the day before,
Yeah, well,
so
thank God for that, because if you flew out on the 10th and he was flying out, was you flying home, or
yeah, I was flying home.
think of the people that was flying to, out to destinations.
Hmm.
But I really think it's important to remember these
Yeah, it's great that they can kind of put everything behind them because what is it? They actually said,
When you say the people that put behind them, you're talking about Trump and Harris.
yeah,
I was going
yeah.
to say, let's
Um,
distinguish that.
they said there was on the debate stage. It says that there was an 8-year streak of not handshaking during presidential debates because Donald Trump refused to shake hands with Barack Obama and with Joe Biden. He refused to shake their hands. So yesterday, when Kamala and Donald Trump met, they shook hands, which was very surprising. And then today, after that massacre that he went through, they were able to meet up again and, have a cordial, I guess, time, speaking to each other and meeting during the 9/11 ceremonies. So I thought that was at least very nice, So it was, at the very least, kind of what we would hope for. It doesn't have to be our presidential situation does not have to be a spectacle, as much of a spectacle as we have made it these days. So that was good.
It was interesting, it really was. So with that, let's move on to the weekly story, which is the Harris and Trump debate. Um, what was your initial reaction to that game?
I think that personally, I think that Kamala did great. I don't think that Donald Trump, I mean, he said that they have been saying that he doesn't want to meet with her and things like that. And I don't think he wanted to debate with her, but you have to have a debate. There's no way that you can have an election without the debate. And we can kind of see why. Like, you can see why he didn't want to debate her or meet with her. So,
Well, a lot of people are saying he didn't even prepare for it,
hmm
so how can you, even if you did prepare for it, how could you take on Harris? Because Harris is a seasoned prosecutor,
hmm
so she can definitely get her points across. But on the article that we got through Yahoo this morning, it says, well, that was different from the June 27th debate between President Biden and Donald Trump. If that June debate was a five-alarm fire for Democrats that eventually forced Biden from the race, after Tuesday's debate, Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump proponents should probably check the temperature in their own house. What's happened? What could it mean going forward? Here are 5 takeaways. This debate wasn't close. The majority of the focus coming into Tuesday was about how Harris would handle her first ever presidential debate with someone who had been on the stage many times. Could she answer questions about her position shifts, parry attacks from Trump? Someone who tries to be alpha on these stages, could she answer the attack that she's light on policy, and could she appear presidential? She may have seemed nervous at first, but she quickly found her voice, more than acquitted herself well. All of those questions were quickly dispatched. She explained her shifts on fracking. Harris was far more dominant than Trump from beginning to end. She called him weak and wrong, inverting the political cliche that strong and weak beats weak and right. Harris answered questions, then redirected and baited him on a host of issues. She got under Trump's skin, something he usually tries to do, by saying that people at the rallies leave early on exhaustion or boredom, pointing him out as out of touch and a bad businessman for inheriting $400 million on a silver platter, then filed bankruptcy 6 times, and citing him for being fired by 81 million people in the 2020 election. I thought that was really clever of her. Harris addressed policy, including tax breaks for small businesses and parents, touting her idea for a first-time home buyer credit for down payments. I think that's a wonderful plan. I think it would be good for the economy. I think it would be good for new home builders, although I do dislike home builders, but I think it would be good for people need to own their own house. It's part of the American dream, and it will always be a part of the American dream. She repeatedly said, I have a plan, while Trump was left saying, I have concepts of a plan when it comes to replacing the Affordable Care Act. And on the presidential question, Harris was calm, in command, and in control, and looked to the future, distinguishing herself from both Biden and Trump.
Yeah.
I've got to say, one of the things that really threw me off was when Trump went on one of his rants, and he was basically saying that immigrants are coming into the country and they are eating cats and dogs. And then David Murr, I can't pronounce his name, came in and said, well, we've called the
city commissioner,
and he said he has no reports of it at all. And that is the typical example of fake news that's coming out from the right of all these different things. That is nothing but fake news that's coming out from the right. And, you know, they accuse the left of fake news, but it really isn't. It's all coming from the right. And that's a typical example of fake news. Oh, the immigrants are coming into the country and, you know, they're eating the cats and the dogs. Well, I'm a dog lover, but believe you me, there's some Mexicans out there that can make some good burritos and they can make some good tacos. And the truth of the matter is, why would you eat a dog or a cat if you can make a good taco or burrito?
They're not saying that it's the Mexicans. They're saying that it's Haitians, which is still crazy because it's like that doesn't work.
Is what they're saying.
Yeah, they're saying the Haitian immigrants are eating them,
well,
which makes no sense. Try
tacos and the burritos.
But
I personally love Tex-Mex.
James Lee in the chat said the debate was a nothing burger. She didn't do well, and neither did he. The economy is trash, and we all know it. Neither of them answered questions, and both of them rambled with insults, etc.
The reason why the economy didn't do well, or hasn't done as well as it should have done, was because when Trump was in power, what basically happened was he increased inflation. So we've had to go through to some tightening, just like most of Europe after COVID, and that's why we have had to increase the interest rates. The interest rates have had to be pushed up to reduce the spending to start to bring the inflation rates down to a decent level. And it's a proven fact that the cost of living has actually come down since 2021.
Oh, that's great.
Crime has come down. The cost of living is starting to come down more now. Plus, in all fairness to everybody, I would expect it to come down. Being an election year, I think they will start to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally, I think Trump. What do you think? I think Trump was wiped off the floor.
Yeah.
He was in panic. I mean, and the ironic part is if he's elected as a president, then he will be the oldest person to ever be elected as a president. And that was the thing he was always saying about Biden.
Mm-hmm.
So the boot's on the other foot.
I think that
And say hi to James for me.
He said, "Good to see you, Stephen." I think that the thing is that Trump is a great deflector. I think that that's his biggest strong point. I think he's a great talker. That's it. He's great at talking, but when you present him with someone who has, you know, at least a goal or a semblance of a goal, then that's where he, you know, messes up. That's why he was able to beat Joe Biden, because, you know, Joe Biden, let's be honest, he more than likely has dementia. And we've probably seen, you know, his downfall of having dementia. He's, you know, he's not completely competent. So it was easier for him to kind of beat Joe Biden during debates because he's not, you know, all there, mentally. And that's, I mean, that's a fair thing to say because he's just getting older. That's, you know, but when you present him with someone who actually can, go toe to toe with him, you can kind of see that he didn't have he didn't have anything. He had no idea as to what was going on. That's the reason that he lost the 2020 election, when Joe Biden was actually a competent individual. That's why he lost. So when you continuously put him in front of people who actually know what they're talking about, who actually have plans, not just a concept of a plan, which that's what I'm going to start telling people. By the way, just quick side note, I'm going to start saying, my mom's going to be like, when are you coming? Oh, I have a concept of a plan of when I'm coming to visit. I'm not, that's what I'm going to start saying. Because that was a great line. It was dumb, but I just think that he met his match almost. It just feels like he met his match, and I think that Kamala is going to be a very, very strong candidate, especially after that debate, because
I
she.
think it's been a two-tier thing, though. You've had the Democratic convention, which was very, very energetic. And honestly, that Democratic convention, do you know what it reminded me of?
Hmm.
The old-fashioned Republican conventions, where you've got all that energy and you've got, that energy in the room. The Republican conventions aren't like that.
Hmm.
Um, so any Republicans out there, come across to the Dem side.
But yeah, I think that.
And I think all this crap that's coming out now that the Dems want to take your guns, the Dems don't want to take your guns. Guns are here to stay. What we need to do is to just put, the guns need to be registered. Well, I told you the story before about when a gun was taken from my car, and I tried to find out, different things about my gun, and it wasn't even put on the register. The police can find out about it, but I can't find out about it. It took a lot of work, and actually my son Jack did an awful lot of work, and it took 6 years to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy ended up going to jail for 20-something years.
Yeah, James said it reminded him of the Grammys in the chat. It reminded him
What?
the Grammys of the Grammy.
The Grannies or the Grammys?
The Grammys, the Grammy Awards.
Yeah, life.
So, um, he says
Nice to
that
see
your
you on the
mic
chat,
is
James.
low. He says your mic is low, but I don't. I mean,
What's that?
he says your mic is low, but I don't hear that your mic is low. It is kind of low. Hold on.
You don't hear my mic?
I hear your mic, but he's saying that it's low.
He doesn't want to hear me. He needs to turn his volume up more. He probably doesn't want to hear my comments. And then the other big news is that Taylor Swift, you listening to that, James? Taylor Swift is going to endorse Kamala Harris. And will it make a difference? We know what James, I think we know what James's answer's going to be. In all fairness, though, it brings up a comment. Should entertainers' endorsement affect the outcome of a political decision? One, should it? And two, does it?
I personally think that it's going to, no matter what. People go for whoever, especially uninformed people. People are just going to follow celebrities. They follow what the celebrities have to say. It's not, it's not something that will ever change. Personally, I don't think it'll ever change. They're going to go. That's why celebrities are celebrities. They follow trends. They follow what they wear. They follow what they do. Whatever they do. That's why people focus so much on what celebrities are doing, is because of that. So Taylor Swift decided that she was going to endorse Kamala Harris last night, which, I don't think is a surprise. I think that the only people that are surprised are the Republicans, or, the people that thought that she was a fellow Republican, which I think she's kind of said multiple times that she's not a Republican. Um, but because most of her fan base is, right
Country.
leaning, yeah,
Mhm.
they're, on the countryside.
But do you
So
not think her music's moved from more country, more across to pop?
she does country pop. The brand
Right.
is literally country
So
pop, but
I
it's
think I, th-
still.
I think she's opened up her music base personally.
Well, she started off as pop and then she moved over to country pop.
Mm.
She started off as a pop singer, then she moved over to doing more country style pop. So which made it to where she, she's a country pop, singer. So, um,
And then the Swift endorsement in the caption of her Instagram post on Tuesday, Swift began by saying she watched the debate using her 284 million followers to do their research on the key issues and candidates before November the 5th election. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies, she wrote. She then expressed fears around the misuse of artificial intelligence to spread misinformation. In August, Trump, on his online platform, Truth Social, posted AI-generated images of Swift and her fans appearing to endorse Trump. See, told you that earlier on.
mhm.
Some of these AI deepfakes showed her fans wearing T-shirts and the text "Swift is for Trump." I mean, quite honestly, if that was for you, would that make you even more anti-Trump?
Um, I would just think that he's just a silly, dumb guy. Um,
He's running for president.
James said, no one thought she was a Republican. No celebrity is, which is not a true statement. There are a ton of celebrities that are
Well, it's
Republican.
funny you say that, James, because we've got something for you.
Yeah, but I want to read, before we continue on to that fact, I do want to read her statement or a
Go
portion
on,
of it.
you read a statement and then
Yeah,
we'll move on.
she said, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that an AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 election. And she said, I've done my research, I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially for first time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. And then she says, with love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. And I think that, Taylor Swift has rabid fans. Her fans are insane. If you say something negative about Taylor Trump, they will find you. They have doxed people, they have found out where people live, where people work, and they harass them. So they will literally follow whatever she says, whatever she does. So I think that, you know, even if she says, do your own research, I've made my choice, vote for whoever you want to vote for, they're more than likely going to follow what she says. So that's why I was saying, like, that's why celebrities are celebrities because of that. So um, it's very interesting. Um,
So let's go down to who endorses who. Key celebrities endorses so far for the election.
mhm.
Celebrities endorsing Trump.
We have
Jason Aldean,
Jason Aldean is a country
country
singer.
singer from Georgia, has had close relationship with Trump recently. He accompanied he accompanied the presidential candidate at the Republican National Convention in July. Rolling Stone magazine reported calling the singer Trump's golfing buddy. Hip hop performer, producer, and fashion designer
Kanye West.
Kanye West. He supported Trump since 2016, and the two seem to have maintained a close relationship.
So uh, James said, name one celebrity that is Republican with the following like hers. Kanye West. Kanye West is one of the biggest artists on planet Earth. So
It's worth billions, isn't it?
he's worth billions. So
Who's Azalea Banks, the
she
rapper?
should not be considered a celebrity. But we got Azalea Banks. she, Um, yeah,
Miami rapper Gazzy Garcia.
aka Little Pump.
Oh, that's Little Pump you was telling me about earlier on.
Yeah,
Hispanic guy.
he's a Hispanic fella.
And he's a Gucci Gang singer.
That's the name of his song. It's terrible. Terrible song. Just terrible. Oh my gosh. So we've got that. And then we have Billy Ray Cyrus.
Performed at the funeral for Corey Comparatore, who was shot during the assassination attempt on Trump
Yeah,
at the Pennsylvania. Well,
that's really sad.
that was sad.
So,
American magazine Billboard reported that Cyrus supports the Republican candidate.
so those are just, a small following of, celebrities that, follow Trump. And James said a bunch of bottom shelf in comparison. He said Taylor sucks. She's the white Beyonce. What's wrong with Beyonce? And he said Kanye West does not have a following like hers. Kanye West is the biggest rapper in the world. I don't. Kanye West is literally the biggest rapper on planet Earth, and you know has been around just as long as her. So I think that you are incorrect. But yes, they are bottom shelf celebrities. That is the point. They are bottom shelf celebrities because when you hear about the celebrities that endorse Harris, Stephen.
Actor and filmmaker George Clooney. I think he's one of the biggest actors in the world. Halloween and Freaky Friday actress Jamie Lee Curtis posted an endorsement of Harris on Instagram in July. The Office actress and director Mindy Kaling has shown staunch support for Harris and was also present at the Democratic National Convention. Both our mothers were immigrants from India who came to America, committed their lives to serving others. Zoolander actor Ben Stiller, alongside other comedians, joined the virtual Comics for Harris rally in August. And in July, British singer.
That?
What's that?
What is the virtual Comics for Harris rally? That just sounds weird. It just sounds
July,
weird.
British singer Charlie XC posted Kamala is Brat on X. Album Brat, sending shockwaves through the internet and shaping a rebrand for the online Harris campaign. Within a day of the rebrand, the followers on the campaign X's account grew by 500,000.
Yeah. I think Charlie XCXC is she's for some reason becoming like a really big artist. So that's kind of the differences. Those are the different people that are endorsing Kamala and Trump. And James, you have a point. I mean, you said that no actor, no celebrity is a Republican, which is not true. There are tons, especially country singers. Most country singers are Republican. But then you said that, nobody with Taylor Swift's following is
I would like,
which
I'd like
might
to
be true.
discuss quickly while we're talking about artists and musicians is which artists are objecting to Trump using their music.
Oh, that's a thing? Artists are objecting Trump using their music?
You haven't heard that?
Nope.
The list is long. Some of them have put injunctions on it. Have you got it? Artists who object to Trump using their songs, from Celine Dion to Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes, well, the trust of Isaac Hayes, they put an injunction on him. Bruce Springsteen. Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. Creedence Clearwater Revival, which has one of your favorite songs that they sing.
It does.
The Beatles, Beyonce, Aerosmith, Adele, which
R.E.M., Guns N' Roses, Phil Collins, John Fogerty, Neil Young, Eddie Grant.
Linkin Park.
Leonard Green, Tom Petty, or the estate of Tom Petty, Prince,
Wow,
the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Adele.
that is a long list. I was not aware of that actually.
Yeah,
I
they've all
actually did
stopped
not
in.
know that.
They've all stopped in. Yeah.
I wonder
Even YMCA, they can't even do YMCA at their rallies.
why would they, but they're so against gay people. Why would they even play that song? why, why would they play that song? I would that just doesn't even make sense as to why they would want to play that. Like, what the heck? It's so strange.
Elton John, he's not allowing it.
Like,
It's
it
just the
is
estates.
so strange.
Yeah.
It says your audio is bad, but oh wow. But
There's an echo.
oh, you can, it's just because you can hear that.
Okay.
It says your audio is bad, but I'm not sure as to why it's low. So let's see. But yeah, so this is quite funny actually. There we go. I think that might have fixed it. It's oh nope, myself. It's kind of funny that you say that because you know
Did I say what with the
about all of these people just not wanting him to play their music. I didn't even know that this was an issue. This was a thing. Yeah, I was not aware of this. So
Is that your speakers up?
yeah, you can hear my speakers because I'm turning you up.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then let's talk about the. What are we going to move on to? Let's talk about this, which was really interesting. There is an historian who has predicted Kamala Harris to win the White House, and he has predicted the winner for the last like 20 years.
Interesting.
Don't know where he gets his information from, but
I've got some friends in Canada, and prior to this debate, they were saying that they think that Kamala is going to win just because of the language that's going around Canada, I guess.
the language.
Yeah, they're just saying that, they think that she'll probably win just because of the way that they're talking about her.
If you're a social media manager like me, HoneyBook has
positive.
Yeah, ready? The historian who has an almost perfect 40-year record calling U.S. election results has made his latest.
How much I felt Kamala got so much under Trump's skin. And normally it's the other way around because he can't shut up. He has to talk over everybody. And I think it was the New York Times that was basically saying that he was talking like 41 minutes over his actually allocated time. Adding it all up. So anyway, let the good fight continue. It's not over yet till November the 5th, and let's see who prevails. So
when is Trump's his sentencing is on the 16th, right, of November, I believe?
Do you know, in all fairness, I don't know. It's been changed so many times. I thought it had been moved back till after the election. So, I really don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I actually don't know either. So, who knows?
There's so many different charges, and there's so many different. I mean, I agree with what Kamala said last night. They laugh at us in many countries. with Donald Trump, you know,
I
because of the way he used to behave, you know. I mean, even the Queen, who's 95 years old, he walked in front of the Queen. You know, he didn't understand protocol. You know, when he was on a United Nations thing, what did he do? He pushed one of the ministers from another country aside so he could get in front of him.
I actually
He just doesn't add to the face of America.
I was watching the debate with my friends, and you know, he said that other countries were laughing at us too. He's like, you know, they're laughing at us. I talked to all the world leaders. They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. When I can remember in 2020, there was a group of them laughing at Donald Trump. If you remember that, it was Trudeau.
It was Trudeau, Boris Johnson,
yeah,
right, and the lady from Germany.
and they were all laughing at him. But also, there's a cartoon, an anime, and they're also making fun of him as the president. So it's not that they're laughing at us, they're laughing at it. I mean, they are laughing at us, but they're very much laughing because we elected Donald Trump.
Right.
And it was really, really
Because
strange.
because the feeling in Europe is you had an entertainer that had lost so much money, gone bankrupt 6 times, all right, and you know, here he is running what should be this, you know, the strongest country in the world, with, you know, the biggest military presence in the world as well. But anyway, let's move on to the last thing on the podcast. Is that correct?
I think it's the last thing, or
It's one of my weekly. I don't really gamble, and I don't drink. But one of the things that I do is I love playing this game. It's called Mega Millions. But when it gets high, when it gets over 500 million, I love playing this. Well, for the first time in goodness knows how long, it was one in Texas, about 3.5 miles from my house. Now, next time, please just drag it over a little bit closer to my house. You know.
that is very funny. Not only in Texas, but in the Houston area.
Seriously, it's like 3.5 miles from my house. The places that normally win it, in my opinion, are California, Florida, New York, pardon me, and also up in the Northeast. But I've got to tell you, 800 million, somebody had won that. So go check your numbers. If you're in Houston, check them numbers.
Keep going, keep checking. You might have won it. But
404.2 million, less 161 million in taxes. 240 million. Put 200 million in a managed account, even at 1%, that's 2 million a year. Is that unbelievable? Live off the interest and have the principal there. You need it. A lot less than with the Harris capital gains tax and 28% fair share tax. I had my son purchase a few tickets for me in Texas. I haven't heard from him since. There's a lucky person who now couldn't care less, I think, about who the president is.
right. Hey, I love when people go and they collect their jackpot winnings and they wear masks so their families can't see who they are. Because, you know, when you go get the Mega Millions, you have to take a photo.
Not in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. In some
Texas is a
places-
state where you don't have to disclose.
Yeah, well,
But some states you have to.
You have to go pick it up and you have to get your picture taken, and so they've just been wearing masks to go. It's very funny.
Some of the comments are, the USA lottery is a joke. 800 million will become 240 million. This is just government benefit. I love lottery XYZ, and I hope they run their project sooner, because because the USA lottery is taking advantage of poor people, which I agree with, actually. I don't agree with the 240 million, it's more than that. But I do think that the lottery does take advantage of poor people. But at the end of the day, it's their choice whether they play or not.
Yeah, I mean, because
I guess I'm just a poor person.
I mean, most of the people that are purchasing lottery tickets are the people who need the money. I don't think I rarely ever see like wealthy people.
Yeah, next time I'm going to ask President Trump to pick my numbers. He's been right about everything else.
Have you seen the fake lottery tickets? You can get fake lottery tickets like to prank your family members. You can get fake lottery tickets and you can scratch them off, and they always say that you win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a celebrity. His mom does that to people like every Christmas, and she'll give them fake lottery tickets, and they'll scratch it off, and they'll be like, oh, you won. And then one time they were with their family, and the person who quote unquote won started bawling his eyes out. He was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. He's like, I'm gonna help the poor. I'm gonna do this. Blah 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 blah. And then his mom's just sitting there like this, just smiling and just waiting until she tells him like, oh, it's fake. So it's very horrible, very mean, but people do it all the time.
But anyway, that was some of the comments from the Watch for a Lottery, which I thought were really good.
But that's all we have for today.
That's all we have for today.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. James for tuning in. It's always nice to hear from him. But, we'll see what happens. I think the next week's going to be interesting. Now as the election date of November the 5th comes in, I think it's going to be interesting. I do think that people need to go there to vote.org and make sure you're registered to vote. Your vote does count. Apparently, when I was reading an article the other day, there was, up from the previous election, 175,000 Gen Z black women that have registered. All right, and there was like an extra 50,000 Gen Z black men, which I thought was, pretty interesting. So we'll see. We're in for an interesting time. I think that, because we're involved in the real estate business, I think it'll be nice if they do have an assistance program for first-time home buyers who, with a $25,000 assistance program. But I don't agree with giving them the money. I think at some time they should pay that back.
Yeah, I think,
I don't believe in giving money away like that. I believe that they should,
maybe after 10 years or so, you get to at least start paying the money back.
Yeah. So then there should be some equity in the property.
Exactly.
So anyway, same time, same channel next week. We'll see you. We look forward to seeing you every week. Please look at some of our other videos. Give us a like and subscribe and turn on notifications. So from Kay and from me, you can find me on Google at century21.com or C21 Olympian TX. We look forward to seeing you. So same time, same channel. Ta-da!